Welcome to MVP Velocity and welcome to Monavie. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Randy Schrader. 24 years ago, I was introduced to this remarkable way of not just generating income, this amazing way of living that we call community commerce. When I was brought into the industry, it was described as network marketing. Today, at Monavie, we fashion it community commerce. And what do we really do? In a nutshell, we engage in a proven and predictable pattern of activities that has only a handful of outcomes which are possible, and they're very predictably positive if properly engaged upon. I'm going to describe to you a simple stairway of success, a ladder of success we'll talk about, and the purpose will be this: to help you gain the skills requisite to succeed as others have before you, similarly in magnificent fashion, if that be your goal, or if it be your goal to simply earn a little extra income, we'll show you how to do that as well. What is MVP? MVP is a process. MVP is a system. MVP is a community. You'll learn much about that. Today, I would like to focus upon the simple ladder of success, the stairway to success that is, in fact, a proven and predictable pattern of activities. Who am I? I'm Randy Schrader. I am the president of Monavie in the United States, in Canada, and also in Europe. I spent years and years and years doing exactly what you now propose to do. I became a distributor in the network marketing industry, and over the course of the next 2 decades, had not just an income experience that was truly remarkable, but a life experience that was remarkable. I can in fact say that what I have experienced is what I would so greatly hope for you: to generate income beyond your need, to generate skills, to develop character attributes that make possible personal and family relationships that simply would not be possible before. That new skill development, that new character development, which we will help you to develop. And so, welcome to Monavie. Welcome to MVP Velocity. Let's embark upon the climb. Did you hear that? That was me snapping my fingers. The reason I did that is because I wish so much I could snap my fingers and get out of my head what's there to yours. Maybe even more importantly, I wish I could snap my fingers and get out of my heart what's there to yours. What I know is this: there is no luck and there is no guesswork. Success in Monavie does not occur by chance. There is a proven and predictable pattern of activities. You have the natural abilities to accomplish great things by following the steps in this workbook. Your business can become predictably positive. And so we find ourselves at the bottom of a stairway. And let me ask you this simple question: what happens if you skip too many stairs? If you're an athlete, you can jump up to the 2nd stair, to the 3rd stair. What if you try to jump to the 5th or the 6th? What happens if you skip stairs? Do you stumble? Do you fall? That's what happens when people skip steps in this ladder of success as well. And so I'm going to ask that you take each step in order and that you do it very much by the process that has been proven to work. Very much by that process. Step number 1 is to enroll in Monavie as we embark upon this stairway to success. Now, it's entirely possible that you have already enrolled in Monavie. It may very well be that you were provided this getting started package as a result of your having decided to engage in our business. It's also entirely possible that you're reviewing this getting started process as part of your decision-making series of events. I remember the very first network marketing presentation I went to, that was before community commerce, that phrase had been coined. I went to a network marketing presentation and I liked everything that I saw. Frankly, I didn't just like it, I loved it. I wanted to do it, but it wasn't actionable for me. All the person had described is what it is, what it is, what it is. He had failed to describe what I would need to do to become successful. And so as much as it felt good to me, it was not actionable. I had to know not just what it is, but what I would be called upon to do in order to accomplish significant success. And so here we talk not about what it is, but we talk about what we do to gain success. So you may be receiving this material as part of your own getting started process, or you may be receiving and reviewing this material as part of a decision-making process. If you're just deciding, let me further extend my personal invitation for you to engage yourself in this process. It will grow you. It won't just grow business, it will grow you. If you are engaged already in a decision to move forward and now you're learning how, I'll again state there's a proven, predictable pattern of activities. Step 1 is to enroll in Monavie. If you have not yet done so, simply push pause, go into your back office, go to the Monavie.com site, go to www.monavie.com and click enroll. You will need the personal ID number of your proposed enroller. My guess is that number has been written on this very page for you. When you were handed the book, in all likelihood, you received the number of your personal enroller so that you can effectively enroll in the process. Go to Monavie.com and fill out the form appropriately. Step number 1, you can hardly do it wrong. Enroll in Monavie. Step number 2 is to place an appropriate initial order. An appropriate initial order. And you might wonder, what is an appropriate initial order? Well, an appropriate initial order should carefully consider the following thoughts. What is your goal? Let me just ask you that question. What is your goal? You can't respond back to me, but you can answer yourself. Is it your goal to earn thousands of dollars per month? Or is it your goal to earn hundreds of dollars per month? What is your goal? If your response is that it's your goal to earn thousands of dollars per month, I can tell you that candidly we have found that for the vast majority of people whose goal is to earn thousands, not hundreds of dollars per month, the appropriate initial order is in all likelihood one of our two business building packs, either a 1000 PV business building pack or a 500 PV business building pack. This will give you an assortment of products for your own consumption. And now just common sense and logic rules the day. If you're going to become an effective ambassador for our company, for our program, for our product, isn't it natural and logical and in fact obvious that you'll need to become a consumer of our product? And now I think about that phrase, you'll need to become. Let me take it another way. You get to become a consumer of the Monavie products. I get to be a consumer of the Monavie products. Remarkable they are. I think that when we really understand who we are as a company, when we really understand the power that we have to positively impact people as a result of product consumption, we should scream from the rooftops that we get to consume the Monavie product. And then isn't it obvious that as you participated in a business building presentation, think back to it. Did you at that business building presentation receive a sample? Did you receive a little bit of our juice to consume? Did you try Monavie? Did you try the Reveal product line? Did you consume a Reveal protein bar? Did you have some of the shake? What was your experience as you looked at our business? Isn't it true that you received our product as part of your decision-making process? Similarly then, what is an appropriate initial order? An appropriate initial order includes products for your own consumption, and an appropriate initial order includes products for you to use in business building purposes. And how do we use them? In samples. And I'm hoping very much that as you went through your business evaluation process, that somewhere along the line, someone gave you the opportunity to buy a full bottle. I hope by now you've consumed a full bottle of juice. If you haven't, then I ask that you remember that every time a person consumes a bottle of our juice, the odds are so great that they want a second bottle. Every time someone uses only a 2 or 3 day supply of Reveal, there is such a great likelihood that they want the second, third, fourth, fifth day, the 30-day supply. I'm hoping very much that your initial order includes product for your own consumption, that it includes product for logical business building purposes, and that it includes product for those for whom, for whatever reason, their personal timing is not correct. They are not ready to engage in our business, but they want to become a consumer of our product. We should have products for our own consumption. We should have products for our business building applications. And we should also have products to use for those who simply want to buy products from us, products to sell. We are a direct selling company, by the way. Community commerce, that's part of what it means. And so now, my simple instruction for you at the end of step 2 is to push pause. Push pause and go to the back office and select your appropriate enrollment pack. To the extent that it's financially appropriate to you so, purchase the 1000 PV enrollment package. It will include a wide assortment of our company's products for your own consumption, products for business building purposes, and other value-added components that give you a tremendous advantage to so enter the business. If a 1000 point order is not appropriate for you financially, let this be the last time in your life that you ever have to say, oh no, not that level, that's not in my financial wherewithal. Then place the smaller pack. Buy the 500 PV pack. It would be a very, very appropriate way for you to launch your business. Go to the back office and place what is for you an appropriate initial order, taking from me the strong guidance that a 1000 PV pack or a 500 PV pack is in all likelihood the correct order if your goals and ambitions are significant. Step number 3. Establish your auto ship. I remember when I was first introduced to the principle of auto ship, this was a source of confusion for me. I was told that I should put my credit card on file with the company and decide today what I would want 30 days from now. And I remember thinking, well, why in the world don't I just buy 30 days from now what I want 30 days from now? That's what made sense to me. And one day the person, you'll have a sponsor in this business, the person who's guiding you through the process. And I had a sponsor in the business. And my sponsor said, Randy, if you don't establish auto ship, I won't support you. And so I clicked on auto ship. And then as soon as he left, I clicked off auto ship. He had not helped me understand at all the logic behind auto ship. I want you to understand it. I had one of the most amazing experiences anyone's ever had in this industry. A number of years ago, I could not start in Monavie. Monavie wasn't born by the time I started in the industry, but I got involved and I built a business, and I built it and built it and built it with the help of an amazing upline organization and downline and cross lines, and had a fantastic life experience. And one day was faced with a very, very significant health challenge and found myself unable to work. And for a 3-year period of time, literally for 3 years, I was unable to function in the business. You'll learn more about that as we get to know each other. I became unable to function in the business. And during that period of time, my income never went down. I hesitate to use figures because they're so large. They almost bounce off people's brains. But at that point in time, I had over 68,000 people on auto ship. My monthly income was multiple times the average annual income in America. And during that 3-year period, my income never went down. How did that happen? I had completely separated myself from the generation of income. One of the primary reasons that became a reality for me was because we had created an AutoShip foundation that literally would not break. Now, I want you to stop and contemplate for a moment the various things that you find attractive about participating in this community commerce method of doing business. When I was first introduced to the concept, the things that appealed to me were the possibility of truly helping others. I had the dream and the vision of helping others who so desperately needed to earn just a little bit of extra money on a part-time basis, be able to comfortably accomplish that. That first dream, that first promise that we make in this industry is that true part-time people can generate a meaningful income. I assure you that dream is only likely to be accomplished, realized, lived, and experienced by those who establish an AutoShip platform in their business. Why? Because when the part-time person stops working, if there's not a predetermined consumption base built in the business established by AutoShip, the income will go to zero. When the income goes to zero, the encouragement that makes one stay engaged in the process tends to disseminate very, very quickly. It goes away, dissolves. So the first reason that one must be on AutoShip is not for you. It is so that people in your group have a logical chance to establish a process that creates success for true part-time people in a relatively short period of time. So you see, you're not getting on AutoShip for your upline, the person who's inviting you to this process. Will they have some benefit? Well, sure, but that's not why you do it. You do it for the benefit of those people in your group. You don't do it for the benefit of people who preceded you in the program. And then the next dream that we have, isn't it true that there's some intrigue or allure to you, this possibility of working for a season, being able to step aside and having the income take on, to some degree at least, a life of its own? You know, I bought into the idea years ago that if I did it right for a period of time and created a proper AutoShip foundation, that if I then slowed my work down by 50%, that my income would only slow down by 25%, that my income would have taken on a degree of permanence. It actually got much, much better than that. The day came where if I didn't work at all, my income stayed the exact same, whether or not I was working. I completely separated myself from the generation of income. That because of the creation of an AutoShip foundation that simply would not break. What I propose to you is that your logic in establishing AutoShip is because in your fully embracing the principle of AutoShip, this then is what encourages and empowers those in your group to do likewise. That then makes possible the living out of the dreams and the promises of this community commerce industry, that true part-time people can generate a meaningful income relatively quickly, that we can, to some degree, begin to have our income take on a degree of permanence after 2 or 3 years of correct activity, correct acting upon these principles, and that someday, one day, we'll be able to completely separate ourselves from the generation of income. Now, here I want to state, it never is quite like a CD. That's not what it is. It's never just an instrument, a vehicle that spits out income with no participation on your part. That likely will not occur. But what can occur is the development of an income stream that requires only very passive and very, very positive and pleasurable management. None of those very, very attractive dreams can be realized minus a correct AutoShip foundation. And so for you, in establishing AutoShip, one must contemplate the long-term ramifications. The fundamental values of network marketing are based upon establishment of a proper network marketing foundation that simply cannot break, your understanding of it. And so now step number 3, simply push pause, go into the back office and establish your AutoShip. And as you establish your AutoShip, do so with these thoughts in mind. Your AutoShip should include products for your own consumption and should continue to include products for promotional activities. Let your AutoShip be an AutoShip that includes enough of the extraordinary Monavie product line, juice, reveal bars, a combination of the elements, enough for your own consumption and enough for ongoing business practices. And here now, I will share with you a life experience. If your AutoShip contains in it products for your own consumption and for ongoing business practices, then the AutoShips established in your group will be likewise. Your multiplier will be based upon that appropriate order, not just initially but ongoing, and the stability of your business will be much, much, much more predictably positive. AutoShip is a key component to our industry. Live it, establish it now, understand it, make it sacred in your business. A review. Step number 1 is what? Step number 1 is to enroll in Monavie. Hopefully you've done so by now. Step number 2 is to place an appropriate initial order. What is an appropriate initial order? It is an order that has products for your own consumption, products for your business building purposes, and products for that default. When a person says, my personal timing is just not right, certainly they need to be a consumer of the Monavie product offering, so products to sell to those until such time as they establish their own account in Monavie at some future date. Step number 3 is to establish your AutoShip, and we have talked about the sacred nature of AutoShip. You understand that in order for people to live the dream, the promises of network marketing, AutoShip is a key part of the proper foundation of building our business. business. Step number 4 is to acquire the tools necessary to do the business. Your experience right now shows you abundantly the need for the tools. As we speak, you're going through a workbook. As we now spend time together, you in person and me in a virtual way, you're listening to an audio. These are the tools. Can you see already with clarity that your ability to do the business is dependent upon your knowledge of proper tools? You know, it's an interesting thing. People ask me periodically already, do tools work? My response is no, tools don't work, but people do better work with tools than without them. You see, your ability to help a new member get started is completely tied up to an understanding of the simple toolkit that is now placed at your hands. You today can be a responsible sponsor. You can enroll your first person. You can guide them through a getting started process. Do it extraordinarily effectively. How? By using the exact same tool that you are now being guided through as we have this conversation. And so at step number 4, simply go to the back office again and place your initial order. Place your initial order for the MVP Starter Kit. And because as we go on through this process, we're going to be teaching you the specifics of how to engage in a business building activity called a Home Business Review, I ask that you also acquire the HBR or Home Business Review DVD. And you can find these once again in the Monavie back office. Acquire them now. Step number 5 is to build belief. And I remember when I first got involved in this industry, a phrase that we've now coined, community commerce. It was called network marketing the day that I first said yes. And at that point in time, I was a senior vice president at a large New York Stock Exchange brokerage firm. And I have to tell you that a lot of my ego, a lot of my security was wrapped up in that title. Hi, I'm Randy Schrader. I am a vice president of Merrill Lynch. That felt a certain way to me. Hi, I'm Randy Schrader. I'm involved in direct selling. That didn't feel the same to me. You see, I had insecurities. Today, I can say with absolute certainty, the fundamental principles which govern network marketing, the fundamental principles which govern community commerce are superior to those which govern conventional business. Today, I can say to you, I would so much rather be considered a professional in this industry, this beautiful community commerce platform. I would so much rather do this than be a senior vice president at Merrill Lynch. I would so much rather do this than anything I've seen in conventional business. Today, I believe that. But what do you believe? That's the question. What do you believe? I promise you this, your candidate, your prospect, the person who's looking at the business, they'll know what you believe, irrespective of what you say. Do you have confidence? Do you have security? Do you have certainty that this industry is the place where you really want to invest your time and your energy and your attention for the next number of years? Do you believe, not just hope, not just want, do you believe that this is the way home, not just for you, but for so many others? See, building beliefs is an important thing. In order for you to effectively move on to step number 6, to create a candidate list. You have to believe that you have something for those people that would populate that list. And so what are the things that we must gain proper belief in? First, the industry itself. And we'll not learn too much because the community commerce, that's our own term. That's inside Monavie. That's an MVP term. Others will refer to it as direct selling or of network marketing. If you go back far enough, long enough, you'll find people talking about the same basic principles as multi-level marketing. What do you really believe? Do you have a sense of certainty, of confidence? I encourage you to review a DVD. You can find it in your back office. It's called The Evolution of Network Marketing. I believe there you can find a history that has a long past this industry of ours, and you will learn that there are proven elements required for success in a company to go on to long-term success in our industry. And those elements are, first, a product that matters to people. I so much want for you to have the same confidence and conviction that I have about the product itself. And I'll describe to you ways that you can gain that belief. It's a product that matters to people. It's a company that can execute. It's a company that you can trust. It's a company where you can have some confidence that if in fact you build this business to create a recurring income, that it will be here to deliver that recurring income year after year after year, way after you've separated yourself from the generation of income. The industry itself is one that provokes feelings of insecurity. I encourage you to watch the DVD that is entitled The Evolution of Network Marketing, and I encourage you to watch it and watch it and watch it and watch it and watch it, so that when someone says to you, oh, but my gosh, I don't know about this industry, your response can be like mine. But I do know about it. That's the exact point. I do know about it. This is a better way to move products to end-line users. It's a better way to generate income. It's a better way to live. Build belief in this community commerce method of doing business, long called network marketing. Build belief. One great way for you to build that belief is to review the content of The Evolution of Network Marketing DVD. Review it over and over and over again. Build belief in Monavie, the product offering. You know, the very best way to build belief in the Monavie product offering is to consume it. If you really want to believe in Monavie, drink the juice. You'll believe. If you really want to believe in our product, just consume it. You will believe. I can tell you that. The reason that Monavie is so extraordinarily successful around the world is because the vast majority of people who drink one bottle of juice, they want a second bottle. I drank the first bottle and I wanted the second bottle. And then one day I wanted to put it to the test. I have arthritic fingers. One day I wanted to put it to the test and I stopped drinking active. A matter of days later, my fingers hurt on the golf course. A week later, my arthritic knee was arthritic again. What will your experience be? I don't know, but I can tell you that when I consume the juice, that's when I believe. If you want to believe in our company's product, simply consume it. Take another step. You'll notice in the MVP Starter Kit a group of resource materials, Monavie 365, MV 365. You'll notice significant documents, significant training and resource materials. We're pointing you to materials to learn about the scientific validity, the scientific validation of all that is the Monavie product offering, whether it be the Reveal product line or the Juice product offerings, the elements. You will see that we are not simply a product seller, but Monavie is a primary product developer, and that we offer products the likes of which cannot be found somewhere else, not easily replaced. The way to believe that the Monavie product is good, and not just good but exceptional, is to consume and let your body tell you. But then for those who like scientific validation, you'll be pleased to see the level of scientific validation offered to you, made available in the various resource materials, abundantly available in the back office, some included in the MVP Starter Kit, but many, many, many more and detailed resources to be found in the back office and in the PDF library at Monavie.com. Build belief. Build belief in our industry. Build belief in the product. Described a couple of simple ways to do that. And now, another element, I think, another key ingredient, and that is to build belief in yourself. Build belief that you can likewise do this. You know, I think back over my life experience, and the industry didn't change. I got involved in the industry, and I was unable to succeed. Then I ultimately became very successful in the industry. The industry didn't change. It was I that changed. I developed new skills, but of equal importance to me was not that I developed new skills, but that I developed new confidence, poise, self-esteem, that I was able to identify and overcome various character flaws that stood in the way of me being in positive association with a large variety of people and personality types and life experiences. It was I that needed to change, not the business. My guess is that some of you may be as an individual one who's had great past successes. One of the reasons that I so love this industry, when I state that the fundamental principles which govern network marketing are superior to those that govern conventional business, one of the reasons that I believe this so completely is because it pays you again for every good thing you've ever done. When I said yes to the industry, I had been well thought of as a stockbroker, and there were lots and lots and lots of people who said, wow, if Randy's doing it, then I should do it too. All of your past successes, you get paid again for all of those successes. Now, here's the thing I love about it also. You don't get penalized for whatever past errors you may have made. I've had some great successes in my life. Man, have I had some difficult defeats. The industry never punished me for those difficult defeats. And if this is to be your first significant financial success, wow, consider yourself lucky, because what an extraordinary training and teaching and proving ground this is. You can become, as a result of your participation in the community that is MVP. You can become, develop new skills that become beneficial to others. You can become, you'll be challenged and confronted, able to identify character issues that stand between you and positive associations with more people. That was my experience. I believe that'll be yours. Build belief in yourself. How do you build belief in yourself? Engage in the MVP process and community in its entirety. Engage fully and completely and absolutely in the amazing community that is MVP. And along the way, you will become more. And as an absolute direct result of becoming more, your confidence, self-esteem, it will grow. Your poise will grow. Your skills will become more fully developed. And the natural outcome is that you'll have greater belief. Step number 5 is to build belief in the industry, in Monavie the company, in Monavie the product, in the process, in the organization, and in yourself. Take that step. Some steps we take only once. You only place one initial order, step number 1. Hopefully you only establish an appropriate auto ship one time and keep it appropriately established. You only place one first order. Some things we do only one time. Some things we do again and again. At step number 5, I live on step 5. The reason that my confidence is so great is because I live at step 5, constantly building and building and building upon a high level of belief. I encourage you to do likewise. Step number 6 is to create a preliminary candidate list, and I'll extend this. The real step is to develop the skill of learning how to grow a candidate list that stays in front of you. You see, it's a simple activity for you right now as a brand new person to open the workbook up, go to step number 6, look at the memory jogger, and create a candidate list. That's an activity. Anyone can do it. But now I want you to, in your mind's eye, paint yourself ahead 6 months. Isn't it logical that you would have made the easy calls? In the book, it describes those as the low-hanging fruit. There are a group of people who love you. There are a group of people who will look at our business not because they're interested in the business, but because they love you. It's easy. Anybody can do it. But now, put yourself down the road 6 months. Is it not logical that you would have made all of those easiest phone calls? Who shall we call 6 months from now? Who shall we call 5 years from now? You know, one of the hallmarks of my success in this industry is for years and years and years and years, year after year, I was among the most prolific recruiters in the industry. I found my way to Montevideo in August of 2008 and reconnected with my lifetime, literally boyhood friends of Dallin and Randy Larson, made a decision to become involved with Montevideo, and in a very short period of time became a Black Diamond. And in that period of time, less than a year, I personally enrolled over 240 people. How can that be? I've been in the industry for 20 years. How could I possibly have someone left to call? It's because I had learned there's a difference in the simple activity of writing down a list of names and the skill of so living our lives so that our candidate list stays in front of us in terms of quantity and quality. Here at step number 6 in the creation of a preliminary candidate list, I would simply like you to quantify who would you like to launch your business with? Who is it? Let's make this real easy. What if today you were opening any other kind of a business? What if today you were opening a little coffee shop in your town? Who are the people you would invite to the grand opening? Who are the people you would invite over to that very first day? Who would you want to be there? Your friends, your family, your business associates. And by the way, one of the critiques I hear about this industry is I hear people say, oh my gosh, am I going to have to call my friends and family? Well, folks, think it through. Do you really want to do business with your enemies? I mean, I'm hoping you don't have any enemies, but who do we do business with? Who do we interact with? We interact with people who are our friends or who become our friends. At least that's the way that I do it. I don't have associations that stay outside of that. If I stay in association with anyone for any period of time, we become friends. Certainly, some relationships are more intimate than others, but I become friends. Otherwise, the association ceases to exist. I'm a friend with my attorney. I'm a friend with my accountant. I'm a friend with the person who cleans my home. I am a friend with the person who takes care of my yard. I am a friend with the person who is the service manager at the auto dealership that I attend. I do business with friends. People I do business with become friends. The two become one and the same for me. And again, there's a certain degree of appropriate intimacy or lack thereof depending on the nature of the relationship. And I'm hoping so much that you know what I'm referring to when I talk about an appropriate business intimacy. We all understand. I don't need to clarify that further for you, I hope. And so, step number 6 is to begin by creating a preliminary candidate list. And as you look in the workbook, it describes your candidate tree, and there we can easily identify the low-hanging fruit. People who know you, trust you, and respect you. People who love you. That's the easiest ones. And then if you look up higher into the tree, at step number 7, we're going to begin a transition. We're going to show you how to reach that fruit that is out of reach as you stand on the ground. That'll be when we teach you how to develop an inviting skill. Ultimately, done correctly, once one has mastered that art, it'll be like you've got a cherry picker and you get clear to the top. It'll be like you've got special glasses and you can see deep into the foliage of the tree. Ultimately, your candidate tree will look like mine. It'll look like the world. You'll realize that you have something that people want. People want what you have once you've developed the skills required to really succeed in the business. And the candidate tree then becomes literally immeasurable. It becomes immense. You cannot run out of candidates once you fully embrace that principle. Once you've really brought to bear the activities required to develop the skills, you develop the character attributes, your candidate list becomes innumerable. But today, at step number 6, simply go to the pages in the workbook, put pen to paper, do a quick review of the memory jogger, and today, during this session, before you put the book down for the day, let it be that there be 50 names on your candidate list. Let there be 50 names on the candidate list. Let it include people that know you, trust you, and respect you, and people that you know, trust, and respect. Let it be people who, in your mind's eye, would change the way that your success trajectory looks. If this person joined me, he or she would be an extraordinary positive contributor. Let the list include people who are of your same socioeconomic background and those who are not. Let it include people who are of your same cultural environment and those who are not. You know, one day, as I was beginning the transition between knowing how to create a list one time and developing a candidate list that grew in front of me forever, a friend and a peer in the industry said, Randy, do you want your business to keep looking like you or do you want it to look like the world? And I said, what do you mean? He said, look at your list, Randy. They're all about the same age as you. They all have about the same background. They all have somewhat similar lifestyles. He said, what about if your business looked like the world instead? He said, you're a Caucasian, Randy. I don't see any Latinos on the list. You're a Caucasian, Randy. I don't see any African Americans on the list. I see no Chinese Americans or Korean Americans. Your business looks like you. How different it would be, he said, if your business looked like the world. And so I set about that process of starting to build a candidate list that looked like the world. And before I knew it, my business looked like the world. And before I knew it, didn't know it was going to occur, I discovered that I had been not born with, but that I had developed over the course of my life certain attitudes about people that were wrong. And I found out when I started developing a business of various different cultures and backgrounds and heritages and races and religious experiences that so many of the attitudes that I had, call it what they are, they were wrong and they were bigoted. You'd never have convinced me of that before I set out on this process that I had any such attitudes. I did. When I started working with people of various cultures, backgrounds, creeds, religions, races, I discovered that there was a beauty contained therein that had completely evaded my vision. Well, we're at step number 6. Let's not make this too complicated. Put pen to paper. Identify 50 people. Do so having used the memory jogger. We'll start with a simple skill. Write down a list of names. Over the course of the next several years, over the next long time, I'm hoping that we engage you in a process that goes on and on and on and grows you and adds more and more value to your life. As you engage fully in the MVP community, you will learn how to not simply engage in an activity of writing down a list of names, but to so live your life so that your candidate list grows in front of you in terms of quantity and quality. Step number 7. I recall so clearly a number of years ago, I cornered a leader in our industry. I said, I want to know what's the one skill that I have to stick the key in the lock to success. His name was Nathan. Nathan said, Randy, there are 4 skills. I said, yeah, but Nathan, what's the one skill that's really required to succeed? He said, there are 4. I'm a little bit slow to learn. I said, Nathan, what's the one that's most important? He said, Randy, there are 4. But if there had to be just one, if there was one that was a preeminent skill, it would be the skill of learning how to invite. And I embraced that principle, and I set upon a track that took to consideration his next thought. He said, in fact, Randy, if you master the art of inviting, that will do more to assure your long-term success than anything else. He said, develop a simple rudimentary inviting skill and you'll succeed. Create a process that causes large numbers of people in your organization to similarly have that rudimentary skill. Your success will become substantial. Master the art of inviting, he said. Your skill will become great. Create a process where large numbers of people in your organization similarly master the art of inviting, and that, he said, will prove to be a greater key to your long-term success. That will do more to assure that you will one day separate yourself from the generation of income than anything else. And so, boy, I just put a great big exclamation point, did I not, on step number 7? It is learn how to invite. Here I'll describe for you the simple reality that exists in our industry. The vast majority of people who generate substantial income make a mistake. They quit recruiting and rely upon people in their group. Remember I told you that I became a black diamond in Montevideo in a short period of time. I'd already been in the industry for almost 2 decades at that point, and I enrolled 240 people. See, recruit. That is the only sure way to success. The prelim to that recruiting process is what? One must have a candidate list that grows in front of you. One cannot continually recruit unless we have a large and expanding candidate list from which to draw these new candidates, these new prospects who look at our business. Now we have this candidate. Here's the rub. Let's say that your name, Nate, is the gentleman here that's helping me with this recording today, and let's assume that Nate today becomes a distributor, that becomes a participant in our process. And here's the way that it's going to go. Nate, well-intended like all other distributors, will call his prospect and say, I'm excited, I'm fired up, I have got involved with this company called Montevideo. It's a great business and I'd like you to do it with me. Words something like that. That's what Nate would say. And I can hear the prospect. Sounds cool, Nate. I like business. How's it working for you? How much money are you making, Nate? Nate's been involved for a day. He's making 0. Here is the great challenge that faces our industry. Most prospecting calls are made by people who are not yet succeeding. They're calling in advance of success. So the real challenge is this. By and large, it's a bunch of people who are not making money proposing to teach other people how to make money. That's what's hard. Here's the key. The great news for Nate now representing all brand new participants. The great news for you reviewing this information is that you are not the opportunity, and I am not the opportunity. Your sponsor is not the opportunity. Your upline is not. Montevideo is. Montevideo is the opportunity. When you've learned how to invite, that's when you can have confidence that your candidate will see Montevideo as opposed to seeing you. And I'm sure you're a lovely person. You're not the opportunity. How much are you making? Nothing. How much do you know about it? Not much. You just got involved. Can you teach me how? I don't know how myself. Well, you see, there is the problem. When you have learned how to invite, that is when you can have confidence that the individual on your candidate list will be given a legitimate chance to see Montevideo as opposed to seeing you. It's not about the one introducing the opportunity. It is about the opportunity itself in all of its magnitude. Learn how to invite. I can't overstate it. How then shall one learn how to invite? The good news is this is easy. This is easy. There is a CD called The Invitation. That invitation is included in the MVP Starter Kit. And I encourage you to listen to it day after day after day after day after day. Listen to it until you know intuitively and automatically the next words, when you can cite the next paragraph, when you know what's coming next. And you know what will occur? One day when you least expect it, you will bump into an individual and you will suddenly be scripted. I just said scripted. I remember when I was first taught to be scripted. This doesn't feel comfortable to me. It didn't feel natural. I was taught to be scripted, not in this industry, but at Merrill Lynch. I was taught to be scripted. And I thought, this feels so artificial. It feels so fake. Who uses scripts? Actors and actresses. It didn't feel real. Didn't feel sincere. I have learned over the years that being scripted simply means that we are prepared. It means that we know what we will say and we know what we will not say. It simply means that we are being prepared. And by the way, it means that you're becoming a professional in this field of endeavor. What's a professional? What's the difference in a professional golfer and an amateur golfer? A lot of them, I suppose, but one key difference is professionals get paid and amateurs don't. I want to assure you there are lots and lots and lots of amateurs in this industry of ours. There are lots of amateurs in our company. There are a handful of professionals. What's the difference? The professionals have developed 4 simple skills. Remember, I asked Nathan, what's the one? He said, Randy, there are 4. The first one is to grow and maintain a candidate list. Have a candidate list that stays in front of us. Why? Because then, once we've mastered the art of inviting, we will have a never-ending pool of people that we can introduce to our business. Recruit, recruit, recruit. That's the only sure way to success. The first skill required to so do is to learn how to grow, create, and maintain a candidate list that grows in front of us in terms of quantity and quality. And second is to begin by developing a simple rudimentary skill of inviting, with the idea of growing into a well-developed and refined inviting skill, ultimately giving way to mastery of the art of the invitation. Man, when that happens, you've gone far to put the key in the lock of success. Listen to the invitation again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And then I would refer to Cicero, who so correctly said, the skill to do comes from the doing. I give you a strong encouragement to listen to the invitation, listen to it over and over and over, then get a handheld recording device and imagine the first 5 names on your candidate list. Imagine that relationship. Select a script. Select one of the downloadable PDF scripts from the MVP site, compare it to the invitation CD, compare that to your candidate list, and then speak into the recorder device exactly what you would say to introduce someone to our business. The skill to do comes from the doing. That which is measured can be improved. Let it be that before 48 hours have passed, that you have created a properly constructed script for that first handful of candidates, that you have selected a preliminary information device. We'll talk about that a little bit further. What exactly we will invite the person to do? We'll invite the person to listen to a tool, to let the tool talk, to guide their entry to a one-on-one presentation, to a two-on-one presentation, to a home business review, to grant them the opportunity to see what Monavie is. The first step is to enroll in Monavie. The first foundation piece of the creation of a large and successful business is to have a process which results in a rapid flow of distributor applications. The second step, to place an appropriate initial order, which considers your goal, your financial circumstance, your willingness to work, and which also considers proper business building strategy, includes products for your own consumption, for business building purposes, and for customers who don't opt into our business at that moment. The third step and the third foundation piece in the creation of a large successful business is to establish an auto ship foundation. First, to establish your own auto ship and understand the importance of it. Then to create a process, to involve yourself in a process long since created, would be more correct, that results in the establishment of an auto ship foundation throughout your business that simply cannot be shaken or broken. The fourth step is to acquire the tools necessary to successfully engage in this process. People do the work, not tools, but people do far, far, far better work with tools properly constructed for the task at hand. Number 5 is to build belief. Step number 5 is to build belief in what? In our industry, in our company, in our products, in you as an individual, in the process, and your ability to engage successfully in it. Step number 6 is to create a preliminary candidate list. The skill that goes along with that step is to learn how to so live your life such that your candidate list grows in front of you in terms of quantity and quality. Step number 7 is to begin with the establishment, with the creation, the development of a simple, rudimentary inviting skill with a longer-term goal of creating a well-developed inviting skill, giving way ultimately to the mastery of the art of inviting, and that will then lead us to step number 8. Step number 8 is to learn how to present the business in 3 separate distinct fashions and to then engage in that business building process. The first way to present the business is in a one-on-one. Very simple and easy to understand. It's when you meet with an individual candidate or prospect and describe to them the Monavie opportunity. How does one do so? Your methods of so conducting a one-on-one are quite simple. It is to meet together with that individual, having first properly invited them. You will learn at step number 7 how to properly invite. You learned at step number 7 how to select a preliminary information device. You've chosen a tool to let the tool talk, and that then grants us the opportunity to meet together and discuss the business. When we gather together to meet, remember that every single thing that we do is teaching our new proposed member what he or she must do. It must then be eminently replicatable. Should you make the mistake of meeting together and you describing the information top to bottom, perhaps you've got strong verbal skills, perhaps you have a lot of poise, confidence, and trust, so on. You know what? That does not transmit well to the next individual. When you meet together and do something so simple as turning the pages on the MVP flip chart, when you turn from page 1 to page 2 to page 3, when you point and describe the Monavie product and read the print on the flip chart, when you point and describe what does it mean exactly to be involved in community commerce and you read the text on the flip chart, when you point to the various stories and history examples of Monavie on the flip chart, then our new potential participant is learning what? Hey, I can do this. I can do it with my current set of skills. There is a tool that will guide me in the process. A one-on-one can be very, very effectively done, very, very effectively conducted by simply turning the pages on a flip chart. Eminently replicatable. One may meet together and in a one-on-one setting push play on the HBR DVD on a laptop computer. A very, very effective way to present the business on a one-on-one basis. What is a two-on-one? Very simple. It's when you and a member of your upline or a friend in the business meet together, you too, with a candidate on an individual basis. What is the power? The power and the strength in this setting is that you're given a chance to learn from a member of the upline. You've got the added support and the comfort, the exact same methods of delivering the business. What is the third method? And I will tell you that this is my preferred method. It's called a home business review. It's when we invite a handful of people to our home, and there's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. I think that having seven potential distributors, whether that be 7 individuals or 7 couples, certainly if it's a married individual, I would like to have both sides of the equation in attendance. It's when we have 7. Why is 7 the best? I don't know. I've done this for years and years and years. 7's what's the best. Here's what occurs. A properly conducted home business review will first of all have prospects in the room who want to be there. How do we know they want to be there? Because they were properly invited. They reviewed a preliminary information device. They listened to a CD. They watched a DVD. They know why they're coming. They know why they're there. In all likelihood, if it's a very early in your business development home business review, they're people who are there because they love you, and they will be so very, very forgiving and gentle of how you conduct the presentation. Now, there is a separate CD called HBR Basics that will describe the detail of how to effectively conduct a home business review. The purpose of this introductory message is simply to describe to you the 3 primary methods of presenting the business. They are a one-on-one presentation. One does so typically with a flip chart or perhaps by pushing play on a DVD. A 2-on-1 presentation, exact same methodology, except that now we have an added resource, an individual in the upline organization there to assist us and to guide us through the process, to provide that support, and to also help us in critique after those presentations to show us how we can do better. And what is a home business review? It is when you invite a group of people, typically about 7 potential distributors, to come to an environment, and here is where the home business review is what I describe as the basic leadership development factory of our entire company. This is where the baton of knowledge and leadership is gradually transferred. Those people that you see speaking with such brilliance on stage, I promise you, they started out being as nervous as you may be at the very first time that you invite a group of people over to your home, and suddenly it's you who are in some respects guiding the process. It's you that are pushing play on the DVD. It's you that's flipping the pages on a chart. You've taken ownership of the presentation. Just as nervous as you may be in that first presentation, so were those that you see today expressing themselves with such eloquence, confidence, and poise on the major convention stages. Well, a home business review, as I stated, I consider this to be the foundational activity in growing your business. There is a separate CD called HBR Basics. I encourage you to listen to HBR Basics a minimum of 2 times before conducting your first home business review. It's my deepest belief and conviction. There are no new mistakes. There are new people making old mistakes and old people making old mistakes. We will show you the ways to make your first and every experience in conducting a home business review a positive one, a growing one, and a learning one that makes you closer and closer and closer to accomplishing your ultimate goals. Step number 8 is to learn how to effectively conduct the business. At this stage, simply write into the book the dates of your first 2 home business reviews to be conducted preferably in the next 14 days, and now commit to yourself that you will listen a minimum of 2 times to HBR Basics between now and that time, simply because I want to help you avoid common mistakes. I would like your very first and every subsequent experience in growing the business through home business presentations to be an extraordinary one. Step number 9. In some respects, I'd like this to be a 9 and a 9.5. Step number 9 is first to understand completely all of the components in the MVP toolkit. There are a host of resources there, and I would like you to fully understand what is the complete arsenal that's available to you. I would like it so much whenever a question is raised that you respond to the question with an appropriate tool and that you go right back to the appropriate step. You'll gradually, quite quickly, it'll surprise you how quickly you go past being the one who is being taught to the one who is teaching. And when a person poses to you the question, oh my gosh, I don't know who else I should talk to about the business, I would like you at that moment to say, oh, we've got a breakdown at step number 6. Let's listen together to the content at how to create and grow and maintain a candidate list. Let's go back and review the steps in the workbook, and let's determine what we can do differently to help you refresh and grow and have a candidate list that's growing in front of you as you grow in the business. I would hope so much that when a person in your group, and you will soon have a group, engage in this process, you will soon have a group, and someone will say to you who's not been properly, for whom the proper foundation has not yet been laid and built, oh my gosh, nobody that I'm talking to is interested in the business. No kidding. You haven't learned how to invite. You're screaming at me, you haven't learned how to invite. Let's go back to step 7. See, I hope the day comes when you understand the process and the various resources available to you, that every single question, challenge that comes up can be turned back to the appropriate tool and the part of the process that addresses it. I promise you that there are no new issues that arise. There is nothing that you will experience that has not been experienced before. I'll even make it more personal. There's nothing you will experience that I have not personally experienced, and there is a way to address it and effectively overcome it and turn it to good by utilizing the tools and the process that can be found in MVP, a representation of which is in that MVP Getting Started Kit. So I guess that would be step number 9. And if I was to go to 9.5, step 9.5, what would that be? It would be to make a group of commitments. To make a group of commitments. Those commitments would include things like, how many home business reviews are you going to conduct in the coming quarter? Now, I like to keep goals and objectives and business plans very, very tight and short, but I remember when I first got involved in the business, I made a commitment to myself that I would conduct a home business presentation every week for the next year. If somebody came, I presented the business to them. If no one came, I set up a video camera and I presented it so that I could learn and grow. I made a commitment to myself that I was going to conduct a home business presentation every week for a year. That was a commitment that I made. You similarly need to make some commitments and then promise yourself to honor the commitments made so that you can in fact grow, learn, develop, become. It's when we grow, learn, develop, and become that suddenly that key which seems so cumbersome in our hand and we're so unable to get in the lock suddenly seems to fit our hand perfectly and slides into the lock. It's when we grow, learn, develop, and become. That for me was a result of making commitments and living up to them. I urge you to make a commitment. How many times in the coming 52 weeks will you conduct a home business presentation? How many times in the coming 90 days will you listen to the invitation? Hint, hint. How about 90 times in 90 days? That would be a great commitment to make and one to live up to. Make some commitments. Make a commitment to yourself that you will not miss ever a major MVP function that is held within a 3-hour drive radius of your home. Make a commitment to yourself that you will always be the one who is there on time. Make a commitment to yourself that you'll be the one who's taking notes and becoming a student of the industry. Make a commitment to yourself that there will never be an MVP major event that you failed to attend. Make a commitment to yourself that you will have complete honor and integrity in the way that you describe the business. Make a commitment to yourself that you will transition from a newcomer to a professional in the industry. But now you see, I fall into the trap of describing what my commitments are. Step number 9.5 would be for you to make some commitments, to articulate them, to put pen to paper. There's a space in the workbook for that very thing. Step 10. First, let's quickly review. Step number 1 is to enroll in Monavie. You can't do it wrong. Only way to miss that one is to fail to enroll. Step number 2, place an appropriate initial order. An appropriate initial order that considers your goal, your financial circumstance, your willingness to work, that contemplates the use of products for yourself, products for business building purposes, and to have that default fallback position for those for whom their personal timing is not correct, products that you can sell to them so that they can further their knowledge education and one day perhaps find their way to our distributor force, but in either case, be a beneficiary of the extraordinary effects of Monavie's products. Step number 3 is to establish an auto-ship foundation that simply cannot break. Step 4 is to acquire the tools that have been proven to be so very effective in growing and developing business for others. Step number 5 is to build belief, first yours, and then to become effective in helping others grow belief. In what? In this industry of ours, this community commerce industry that provokes feelings of insecurity among even the most secure people, or so it seems. To grow belief in Monavie the product. How do you do that? Consume it. That'll grow belief. To grow belief in Monavie the company, to grow belief in you, to grow belief in the process. Step number 5, build belief in you. Learn how to do so in others. Step number 6, simple activity to write down a list of names, to create an initial candidate list. The corresponding skill, 1 of 4 skills required to really stick the key in the lock of success. The first one is to learn to so live your life so that your candidate list grows in front of you in terms of quantity, quality, diversification, and so on. Step number 7, this is the second skill. The second skill required to really succeed is to learn how to invite so that those candidates, that ever-growing candidate list, now those people on that list are given a chance to really see what the opportunity is. The third skill is to learn how to present the business. So those people who are on the candidate list, once one has learned how to invite, now the candidate has a chance to really see what the opportunity is. That chance is turned into reality when one has learned how to present the business in one of 3 simple fashions: one-on-one, two-on-one, home business reviews. Step number 9 is to really own and understand the process that is Monavie MVP, to really know and understand the toolkit, to know what is the arsenal at your fingertips, to be able to respond to every question with a tool that is tied to a specific step in the process, when you can address any group of your people and say, what's step 1, what's 2, what's 7, what's 6, what's 8, what's 9, how do you execute it, why does it exist, how is it implemented in your business, how does that become institutionalized? Now you have a business that repeats, and that is what makes it possible for you to separate yourself from the generation of income. Step number 9.5 is to make some commitments. I hope you've made yours. I hope so much you've made yours. There will be few things that are of greater importance than the fact that you have made some commitments that make it possible for you to truly succeed in this business. Success does not occur in our company by happenstance. It's because we make commitments and honor them as we engage in this proven and predictable pattern of activities. And step number 10 is to act upon all that you have learned and engage in your first 2 home business presentations in the next 2 weeks. Man, I wish so much I could be with you right now. At the outset, I snapped my fingers. I said that I wish that I could get out of my head what's there to yours, just like that. I wish I could get out of my heart what's there to yours. This is what I believe. I believe the fundamental principles which govern network marketing are superior to those which govern conventional business for a variety of reasons. I think this is not just the best way to move products to end-line users. I think this is not just the best way to generate income. I believe that this network marketing, a phrase we've now coined community commerce, I believe this is and can be the best way to live, and I am proof of that. How I wish that you could live the same quality of life that I live, one of true abundance that transcends financial resources. I would want that for you. I want for you what this industry and this company have done for me. At step number 10, I would like so much for you to engage in this process enough times that that which is proposed starts to feel natural and simple and easy for you. The fundamental principles which govern network marketing are superior to those that govern conventional business. Within the industry, there are a host of good companies. Our company is an extraordinary one. And here's what I know of you, whether or not you know it. You're also extraordinary. You're also extraordinary, and you can do this. I look forward so much to meeting you along the way. If I could see, I'd give you a hug. I can't, so I'll blow you a kiss through the airways. God bless you. Look forward to our association.